There are people who touch your life and leave scars. Then there are people who arrive quietly, carrying healing in their hands without even knowing it. My love, I know the world has made you careful. I know you've heard promises that sounded beautiful in the beginning and painful in the end. Maybe someone once held your heart gently, only to drop it when they got bored. Maybe you learned to smile while hiding the fear of being hurt again. But listen to me tonight, because I need you to understand something deeply. I did not come into your life to break you. I did not come to play games with your feelings, disappear when things get hard, or make you question your worth. The truth is, when you truly love someone, you stop thinking about winning, you start thinking about protecting their heart, their peace, their softness. And my love, that is exactly why I won't hurt you. Not because I'm perfect, not because I have never been broken myself, but because I know how painful it feels when someone you trusted becomes the reason you cry at night. And I could never live with myself knowing I became that pain for you. My love. Before I say anything else tonight, I need you to understand something very important. Not everyone who walks into your life comes to hurt you. I know it may feel that way sometimes. I know your heart has learned to stay alert even during beautiful moments. I know there's a part of you that smiles while secretly waiting for disappointment, because life taught you that people can sound sincere and still leave. People can hold your hand today and become strangers tomorrow. People can look deeply into your eyes while already planning their exit, and after enough heartbreak, love stops feeling safe. It starts feeling temporary, fragile, untrustworthy. Maybe that's why you hesitate when someone cares too much about you. Maybe that's why you question kindness instead of accepting it, because deep down, you wonder when the pain will begin. You wonder when the warmth will disappear. You wonder when the person who promised to stay will slowly become distant, cold, or tired of loving you. But my love, listen to me carefully tonight. I won't hurt you, and the reason is much deeper than you think. It's not because I believe I'm perfect. I'm not. I've made mistakes, I've lost people, I've spent nights staring at ceilings, wondering where everything went wrong. I know what it feels like to carry silence, so heavy that even breathing feels exhausting. I know what it feels like to replay memories in your mind until they start feeling like punishments instead of comfort. I know. Heartbreak, personally. And maybe that's exactly why I could never become the reason your heart breaks. You see, people who have truly suffered in love become different. They stop seeing love as a game. They stop treating emotions casually. Because once you know what real pain feels like, you become careful with other people's hearts. I know what it feels like to trust someone completely and still end up feeling abandoned. I know what it feels like to miss someone who slowly stopped missing you back. I know what it feels like to give your loyalty to someone who treated it like it was ordinary. And my love. After experiencing that kind of pain, something changes inside a person forever. You become softer, quieter, more intentional. You start understanding that hearts are not toys, that feelings are not temporary entertainment, that words can stay inside someone's soul for years. That's why when I look at you, I don't see someone to impress for a moment. I see someone I want to protect emotionally, someone whose tears I never want to cause, someone whose trust feels sacred to me, because love, real love, is not about possession, it's about protection, and nobody talks about that enough anymore. People talk about chemistry, attraction, excitement, passion, but they rarely talk about emotional safety, the kind of love where someone can finally relax around you, the kind of love where they no longer have to overthink every message. The kind of love where silence doesn't feel threatening. The kind of love where they know you're not secretly preparing to leave during difficult moments. My love, I want to become that peace for you. Not another lesson, not another scar, not another memory you have to recover from. I know there are nights when your mind becomes loud. Nights when old memories return without permission. Nights when you suddenly remember the people who changed your ability to trust. And maybe nobody notices it because you hide it so well. Maybe the world only sees your smile while your soul quietly carries exhaustion. But I notice the sadness behind strong people. I notice the fear hidden behind independence. I notice when someone acts like they don't need love anymore because they're tired of being disappointed by it. and I need you to know something tonight. You deserve a love that doesn't confuse you. You deserve consistency. You deserve honesty. You deserve someone whose actions calm your fears, instead of creating new ones. That's why I won't hurt you, because I understand the responsibility that comes with being loved by us. Do you know how precious it is when a person opens their heart after being hurt? Do you know how brave someone has to be to trust again after betrayal? That kind of vulnerability should never be taken lightly. And if you ever give me your trust, I will treat it carefully, because trust is not easy to rebuild once it breaks. People think heartbreak only happens when someone leaves. But sometimes heartbreak happens slowly. Quickly. It happens when someone stops trying. When they stop listening, when they stop noticing your sadness, when they make you feel lonely while standing right beside you. That kind of pain is even worse, sometimes, feeling emotionally abandoned while the person still exists in your life. My love, I could never do that to you, because if I choose you, I choose all of you, your fears, your healing, your silence, your overthinking, your difficult days, your soft heart hidden behind strong walls. I don't want the version of you that pretends to be okay all the time. I want the real you, the tired you, the emotional you, the version of you that sometimes needs reassurance at 2 a.m., for no reason at all, because love should not disappear the moment things become emotionally inconvenient. Too many people love only when it's easy. Only when you're smiling. Only when you're fun to be around. Only when your sadness doesn't interrupt their comfort. But real love stays curious about your pain. It stays patient during your silence. It stays gentle when your heart becomes afraid. And maybe that's why I feel so deeply about you, because I see beyond your surface. I see someone who has spent so much time being strong for everyone else that they forgot what it feels like to fully rest emotionally. I see someone who gives love carefully now because they know how painful disappointment can become. I see someone who secretly worries they might be too much for people once their emotions become visible. But my love, you are not too much. You were simply given too little by people who never understood your heart. The right person will never make you feel guilty for needing reassurance. The right person will never punish you for being emotional. The right person will never disappear every time things become real. And I promise you, I will never intentionally become the source of your pain. Not because I'm incapable of making mistakes, but because your heart matters to me too deeply to handle carelessly. When I imagine loving you, I don't imagine control. I imagine comfort. I imagine learning the little things that make your difficult days easier. I imagine noticing when your voice sounds tired, even if you insist, you're fine. I imagine becoming the place where your mind finally stops racing for a while, because that's what love should feel like, not confusion, not emotional instability, not fear. Love should feel like coming home after a long, exhausting journey. And my love, I know the world has made you suspicious of beautiful words. Maybe someone once told you they loved you, while slowly destroying your confidence. Maybe someone made promises they never ended to keep. Maybe someone looked at your loyalty and treated it like it was guaranteed forever. That changes a person. It teaches them to expect disappointment before happiness. It teaches them to emotionally prepare for abandonment even during good moments. But I want to show you something different. I want to show you a love that doesn't disappear after the excitement fades to. A love that still chooses you during ordinary days. A love that remains gentle even during misunderstandings. Because attraction may bring people together, but emotional safety is what makes love survive. And I want you to feel safe with me. Safe enough to speak honestly. Safe enough to cry without embarrassment. Safe enough to stop pretending you're unbreakable all the time. You know what hurts the most sometimes? When someone finally finds a good heart. But they're too damaged by the past to believe it's real. I don't blame people for becoming cautious. Pain changes the way we receive love. Some people become distant. Some become emotionally guarded. Some stop expressing their feelings completely because they're afraid vulnerability will only lead to more disappointment. And maybe you've become like that too. Maybe part of you wants love deeply while another part keeps whispering, don't trust too quickly. I understand that conflict, I really do, because even strong people carry invisible fears. Even people who smile beautifully sometimes feel emotionally exhausted inside. That's why I don't want to rush your heart. I don't want to pressure your healing. I don't want to become another person demanding emotional access before earning your trust. Take your time with me, watch my actions carefully. Pay attention to consistencies instead of promises, because real love proves itself quietly over time. And my love, if I stay honestly, not halfway, not temporarily, not only when life feels convenient. I know relationships are not perfect. There will be misunderstandings sometimes. There will be difficult conversations. There will be moments when emotions become heavy, but hurting someone and struggling with someone are not the same thing. Two people can face difficult moments together without destroying each other emotionally. That's what mature love looks like. It listens instead of attacking. It reassures instead of manipulating. It communicates instead of disappearing. And maybe that sounds rare these days, because too many people have normalized emotional inconsistency. Too many people treat loyalty like it's optional. Too many people want attention without responsibility, but I don't want temporary connections. I want something honest, something deep enough to survive difficult days. Because my love, your heart is not something I want to borrow for a moment. It's something I want to honor carefully. I know you've probably spent a long time carrying emotional wounds, nobody fully understood, smiling through disappointment, acting okay during lonely nights, pretending certain memories don't still hurt you sometimes. And maybe nobody ever told you this properly, but surviving heartbreak is exhausting. It changes the way you see yourself, the way you trust, the way you love. Sometimes it even changes the way you sleep. You become afraid of getting attached, because you remember how painful detachment felt last time. You start overthinking beautiful moments because experience taught you that happiness can disappear unexpectedly. But my love, I want to be different for you. I want my presence to feel calm instead of confusing. I want my love to feel consistent instead of unpredictable. I want you to slowly realize that not everyone arrives in your life to damage you. Some people arrive to help you breathe again emotionally. And maybe I can become that for you. Not through perfect words, but through patience, through loyalty, through showing up repeatedly, instead of speaking beautifully once, because love is not built in dramatic moments alone, it's built in small daily choices. Checking on someone when they become quiet, remembering the little things they mention casually, staying gentle during difficult conversations, protecting their insecurities instead of using them against them later, that's real love. And my love, if I ever hold your heart, I will hold it with care, because I know what it means. When someone finally trusts again after being hurt, that kind of trust is sacred. It should never be abused. I don't want to become a painful chapter in your story. I want to become the chapter where your soul finally felt understood, the chapter where you stopped apologizing for being emotional, the chapter where you no longer had to beg for consistency. The chapter where love finally felt peaceful instead of painful, because you deserve that. You truly do. You deserve someone who chooses honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, someone who communicates instead of disappearing, someone who understands that loving you is not just about enjoying your happy moments. It's also about respecting your emotional scars. And my love, I respect your scars deeply. Not because they make you broken, but because they tell the story of how hard you fought to remain soft in a world that kept giving you reasons to become cold. That softness inside you is rare. Protect it. Never let cruel people convince you to lose it completely. The world already has enough emotionally careless people. What it needs more of is gentle hearts that choose kindness, despite everything. They've survived, and you still have kindness inside you even after all the pain. That says so much about your soul. I think that's one of the reasons I care about you so deeply, because beneath your fears, beneath your guarded heart, beneath your overthinking, there's still love inside you. Still hope, still tenderness, still the desire to be understood completely by someone who won't misuse your vulnerability. And I promise, if you ever trust me with your heart, I will never look at your softness as weakness. I will protect it. I will value it. I will remember every day that being loved by someone is a privilege, not an entitlement, because people are not replaceable. Souls are not replaceable. The way someone loves you is not easily replaceable. That's why I could never treat your feelings casually. I know how deeply emotional wounds can follow someone for years. Sometimes a person heals outwardly while still carrying invisible sadness inside. Sometimes they laugh loudly while quietly wondering why they were never enough for someone they loved deeply. And my love, I never want you questioning your worth because of me. I want you to feel more valued around me, more seen, more emotionally secure, not perfect. Just safe enough to finally exhale emotionally, because love should not feel like constant survival, it should feel like rest. And maybe you've spent too much time surviving relationships instead of being loved properly inside them. Too much time trying to earn reassurance. Trying to decode mixed signals, trying to convince someone to choose you clearly. But the right love doesn't keep you emotionally starving. The right love nourishes your spirit. It makes your nervous system calmer. It makes you feel less alone inside your own mind, and that's the kind of love I want to give you. Not loud love, not performative love, not temporary excitement disguised as devotion. I want to give you steady love. Quiet love, the kind that remains present during ordinary days and difficult nights alike, because my love. I know what it feels like to crave emotional safety too. I know what it's like to want someone who doesn't disappear when things become heavy, someone who stays kind during misunderstandings, someone who doesn't weaponize your insecurities later during arguments. That kind of maturity matters more than people realize. Anyone can say beautiful words during good moments, but true character appears during emotionally difficult ones. And if we ever face difficult moments together, I want you to know I will still choose gentleness. I will still choose communication. I will still remember that your heart deserves care even during disagreements, because love without respect eventually becomes pain. And I respect you too much to hurt you intentionally. I respect the battles you survived before meeting me. I respect the strength it took for you to keep loving, despite disappointment. I respect the courage it takes to stay soft, after life hardened so many parts of you. And maybe you don't hear this enough. But your emotional survival is beautiful. The fact that you're still capable of love, after everything you endured, is beautiful. The fact that your heart still hopes for something real is beautiful. Don't lose that part of yourself. One day, the right love will hold that softness carefully instead of punishing you for it. One day, you will stop feeling afraid every time someone gets close to you emotionally. One day, love will feel calm instead of uncertain, and maybe, my love, maybe that's what I'm trying to become for you now. My love, there's something I need you to understand tonight. The gentlest people are usually the ones who have suffered the most. Not because pain automatically makes someone kind, but because some people know exactly what heartbreak feels like, and they refuse to become the reason another soul feels that same darkness. That's the truth about me. I know pain too personally to play with your heart. I know what it feels like to sit alone at night, replaying conversations in your head, wondering where everything changed. I know what it feels like to miss someone who slowly stopped choosing you. I know what it feels like to read old messages, just to feel close to someone who already moved on, emotionally. And my love, once a person experiences that kind of loneliness deeply, they become different. Some people become cold after heartbreak, but others become careful. They start realizing how fragile hearts really are. They understand that trust is not something small, that vulnerability is sacred, that when a person opens their soul to you, they are placing something priceless in your hands. That's why I could never love you carelessly, because I know what careless love can do to someone. I know how it can destroy confidence, how it can make a person question their worth, how it can turn soft hearts into anxious ones, and I would never want your beautiful soul to become afraid of love because of me. My love. People who truly understand pain don't enjoy hurting others. They don't disappear without explanation. They don't manipulate emotions for attention. They don't make promises just to feel powerful for a moment, because they remember too clearly what it felt like when someone did that to them. I remember the confusion, the silence, the overthinking, the feeling of wondering why I suddenly became easy to leave behind, and maybe that's why I love differently now, not louder, not more dramatic, just more sincere. I no longer believe love is about grand speeches and temporary passion alone. I believe love is about emotional responsibility. It's about being careful with someone's insecurities. It's about staying honest even when honesty feels uncomfortable. It's about reassuring someone instead of making them feel replaceable. Because real love should never leave a person feeling emotionally abandoned. And my love, if I ever choose you, I will choose you with intention, not confusion, not inconsistency, not mixed signals. You see, people who survived emotional pain become very aware of the little things. They notice delayed energy, cold replies, changes in tone, the diastant hidden behind excuses, because heartbreak teaches people to study emotional shifts carefully. And maybe you're like that too now. Maybe your heart became cautious after giving too much to the wrong people. Maybe you smile while secretly protecting yourself emotionally. Maybe you crave love deeply while also fearing it at the same time. I understand that conflict more than you know, because when someone breaks your trust deeply, part of you changes forever. Even after healing begins, the fear of disappointment sometimes remains hidden quietly inside you. That's why I would never mock your fears. I would never call you too emotional for needing reassurance. I would never punish you for the wounds life gave you before I arrived. Because pain should make people more compassionate, not more cruel. And my love, the people worth keeping are the ones who handle your heart gently after learning how heavy heartbreak can become. I've seen what emotional neglect does to people. How it slowly drains their confidence, how it makes them question whether they are lovable at all. How it creates silent battles. Nobody else notices. That's why I want my love to feel safe for you. Not perfect, just emotionally safe. Safe enough for you to speak honestly. Safe enough for you to stop pretending you're okay all the time. Safe enough for your nervous heart out to finally rest a little. Because love should never feel like a constant battle for reassurance. The right person won't make you beg for clarity. The right person won't make you feel guilty for having emotions. The right person won't vanish every time things become serious. And my love, I know the value of staying. Not physically, emotionally, because some people remain in your life while emotionally abandoning you completely. And honestly, that kind of loneliness hurts even more sometimes. Feelings unseen by someone standing right beside you can break a heart slowly. That's why I want to remain emotionally present in your life. I want to notice the sadness hidden behind your smile. I want to understand your silence instead of ignoring it. I want you to feel heard even when you struggle to explain what's wrong. Because people who know pain recognize pain in others quickly. We notice tired eyes, quiet voices, forced smiles, the way someone says, "I'm okay," while clearly carrying too much inside. And maybe that's why I look at you so differently. I don't just see your beauty. I see your exhaustion too, your guarded heart, your hidden fears, the part of you that wants love but is terrified of being hurt again. And I need you to know something deeply tonight. You do not need to become colder to protect yourself. The world may have taught you that vulnerability is dangerous, but the right love will never punish you for being soft. The right love will protect your softness carefully. And if I ever hold your heart in my hands, I promise, I will remember how rare it is for someone to trust again. After pain, that kind of trust is sacred to me, because I know what it feels like when someone mishandles your love. I know how long emotional wounds can follow a person quietly. I know how difficult it becomes to believe new people when old memories still ache sometimes. So no, my love, I could never intentionally hurt you. Not after everything I survived myself. Pain taught me something important. It taught me that this world already has enough emotionally careless people. Enough people who leave without explanation. Enough people who love temporarily. Enough people who confuse attachment with commitment. What this world needs more of is gentleness, patience, loyalty, presence, and maybe that's why my heart loves differently now. I no longer want shallow connections. I no longer care about temporary excitement that disappears the moment life becomes difficult. I want depth, truth, emotional safety. I want a love where two people protect each other's peace instead of damaging it. Because my love, when you truly care about someone, you become careful with their mind, not just their heart. You think before speaking harshly. You communicate instead of disappearing. You reassure instead of creating confusion. That's maturity. That's emotional love. And people who truly understand heartbreak usually become capable of that kind of love, not because they're flawless, but because they remember how painful emotional carelessness feels. I remember the nights I felt forgotten, the conversations that became shorter and colder, the moments I realized someone I loved was slowly disconnecting emotionally. That pain changes you. It makes you promise yourself that if you ever love someone sincerely one day, you will never make them feel invisible, and that's exactly how I feel about you. I want you to feel chosen clearly. Not temporarily admired, not emotionally tolerated. Chosen, because there's a difference between being loved casually and being loved intentionally. Intentional love pays attention. It notices emotional changes. It checks on you during quiet moments. It remembers the little things that matter to your heart. And my love, I want to love you intentionally, not perfectly, but sincerely. I know relationships are not always easy. There will be misunderstandings sometimes. Moments of stress. Days where emotions feel heavy, but even during difficult moments, I never want you questioning whether I care about you, because healthy love doesn't disappear during emotional storms. It becomes gentler, more patient, more understanding. That's the kind of love pain taught me to value. A love that doesn't run away the moment things stop feeling effortless. A love mature enough to stay honest during difficult conversations. A love that protects emotional trust instead of destroying it during arguments. And maybe that sounds rare now, because so many people have forgotten how to love responsibly. Too many people chase feelings without considering consequences. Too many people enjoy attention while ignoring emotional damage. Too many people enter hearts they were never prepared to respect. But my love, I could never treat your emotions that casually. Not when I know how long heartbreak can stay inside someone. Not when I know how difficult healing becomes after betrayal. I know some wounds become invisible, but never fully disappear. I know certain memories still hurt unexpectedly years later. That's why I would rather protect your heart than temporarily impress it, because anyone can create butterflies. But not everyone can create peace, and peace, that's what I want my love to become for you. The kind of peace that slowly heals your fear of abandonment. The kind of peace that helps you trust again naturally. The kind of peace where your heart no longer feels the need to prepare for pain every time someone gets close to you. Because my love, you deserve a love that calms your soul instead of exhausting it. You deserve someone who understands that your heart is not something to experiment with. You deserve someone mature enough to value your emotions properly. You deserve someone who remembers that behind your smile exists a human being who has already survived enough disappointment. And maybe that's why I care so deeply about how I treat you.